You're listening to the Unicorns Podcast.
Welcome to another episode of the Unicorns Podcast. Today we welcome back to the program Andrew Wilson from Senetas. Senetas is an Australian public company specialising in cybersecurity. It's on the ASX with the code SEN. The company has been listed since 1984. Its solutions have been trusted to protect much of the world's most sensitive information for more than 20 years, working with private and public sector organisations in more than 45 countries. Senetas encryption technology is used to protect everything from government and defence secrets to intellectual property, financial transactions, and citizen privacy. A global leader in the protection of data transported across high-speed networks, Senetas provides network-independent encryption hardware and virtualized solutions. These share a crypto-agile and quantum-resistant cybersecurity platform. Andrew Wilson, welcome back to the program.
Thanks, Justin. Great to be back to talk to you about what's happening at Senetas. And for those who don't know me, I'm Andrew Wilson, CEO of Senetas. I've been CEO since 2012, but I've been with the company since the year 2000. I've seen a lot of changes in the industry since that time.
When we spoke last, Andrew, you mentioned the cybersecurity industry was still in a state of hangover from COVID. So has that hangover stretched into 2024?
Oh, look, I call it long COVID, right? I think we're all familiar with what that has felt like. And I'm pleased to say the chip shortages, which was our version of long COVID, has eased up, and we're now seeing more availability of critical chips that we use in our product, more easily attainable, therefore reducing product lead times and making customer deliveries a lot quicker, and over time reducing the amount of inventory we have to hold.
Great. Senetas announced strong sales growth by Thales in 2024. Are there specific actions that Senetas took to enable this growth, or is it a sign of a growing focus on cybersecurity more broadly around the world?
Look, it's a combination of both of those factors. We identify during the long COVID situation, and when it was difficult to obtain chips. Obviously, it wasn't only our product that was affected, but also it impacted the ability for our customers to actually build networks. With that situation easing up, a lot of the infrastructure projects, networking infrastructure projects, came back online, thereby sort of allowing Thales to grow pipeline and close some sales. So there was that combination, along with also working very closely with the management of Thales to reboot their efforts to sell our product globally. And secondly, I think it's the geopolitical ructions going on around the world that has shone a spotlight onto the importance of encrypting sensitive information globally. And we're particularly seeing that playing out in the Middle East, in parts of Latin America, and certainly also in parts of Asia.
I wanted to ask you about the Middle East because Senetas has seen its biggest ever order this year in terms of sales, worth around $2 million, which came from a customer in the Middle East. So how do you plan to replicate this success in other areas of the world?
Yeah, well, that was a particularly large deal. This government customer in the Middle East was provisioning a brand new network. So our product was procured by that particular customer to encrypt this brand new defense network. We're seeing sort of larger opportunities in other parts of the Middle East popping up where data volumes have grown and older networks need to be replaced. Our product fits well into those kinds of network refreshes where performance of the network is critical and security of the network is critical. So we're seeing some opportunities in North Africa and also, interestingly, in Brazil, where there's some large opportunities there. So, given the global sales coverage that Thales can offer us, and given the brand that Thales has, we are able to identify those projects more readily compared to prior distribution relationships.
The subsidiary of Senetas is Vitiro, and Vitiro has seen a 25% revenue bump in recent times, albeit from a lower base. So, what future role do you see for Vitiro within Senetas?
The critical measure, I think, at the moment is the fact that Vitiro has grown annual recurring revenue by 50%, right? So it's up around 10.5 million US dollars. That revenue will be recognized over a period of time. Pipeline is growing significantly, and our focus at the moment is to continue to grow Vitiro over the next few years, and then we'll consider what we do with our investment in that company. It may be that Senetas decides to acquire the whole lot. It may be that the business is sold to a strategic cybersecurity company in the US, or if the IPO market improves, then it's possible that the business is IPO'd as a standalone business.
You took time to call out Vitiro's new data detection and response capabilities in your annual report. So, in layman's terms, Andrew, what is this, and does it open up new markets for Vitiro?
Yeah, so we have iterated and improved Vitiro's technology to move it into the sort of privacy space. So historically, it was a technology designed to prevent malware entering an organization, file-borne threats. We've extended that now to helping organizations manage privacy risks. And it does that by really applying a zero trust approach, assuming that every file coming into the organization is potentially a risky file. So it detects and disarms threats in real time. And it's very important that I say real time. So there's no lag in disarming, there's no lag in detecting as you have with other technologies. And the privacy and compliance perspective, obviously, you've got privacy regulations around the world, and GDPR is probably the gold standard in privacy regulations out of the EU, where if an organisation fails to handle private information or sensitive personal information properly, large fines can be levied against that organisation. So Vitiro's technology can identify, private information within a file as it's coming into the organisation, and then apply a policy. That policy may be redacting that information, masking that information, and then passing it through depending on the policy an organisation sets. So, for example, you may have a CV coming in. It may have social security numbers and various other personally identifiable information, and that's okay to go into the HR department, but it may not be okay to go into the business unit. And so we can apply policy on the fly to say, redact this information when it's going to the business unit, but keep it for the HR department. So it helps an organisation comply with privacy regulations in real time.
You touched on component shortages. They've been a big pain for a long period of time now, right across the world. So, what's your view on whether these shortages have been sorted, or are there still difficult to find components out there? What's the current state of play?
Of the current state of play is it's much improved, no doubt about that. But we still face some component shortages or difficulties in procuring parts. So I wouldn't say it's completely solved. I mean, of course, we wouldn't want any more geopolitical disruption, given that many of these components are manufactured in the Asia Pacific region, and obviously geopolitical issues there may disrupt supply. But there's been a huge amount of investment from the EU and also the United States in rebuilding its capability to produce these components. Now that takes a lot of time and costs tens of billions of dollars, but that activity is underway, just given the strategic importance of those electronic components to national security.
Senetas raised, I think it was $5 million in December last year. What are your plans for upcoming capital raises? What can you tell us about the future there, particularly in supporting Vitiro?
Yeah, look, we're not planning to raise any capital in the near or medium term. We think Vitiro should achieve cash flow break even by the end of the calendar year, and that Senetas will have enough funds along with other investors to ensure the company is well capitalised.
This year, the Australian government for the first time directly invested in quantum computing startup businesses.
Yeah.
Do you think, Andrew, that the world is ready for a breakthrough in quantum computing?
Well, I think the Australian government investment underscores the growing recognition of the importance of quantum computing and its potential to revolutionise industries like, drug research, optimization of logistics, modeling climate change, obviously running military scenarios and things like that. Because this quantum computer, when it's available, will be able to solve problems that are unsolvable today by classical computing techniques. So, is the world ready for it? Well, I think we're on the cusp of a quantum computing revolution, and there's massive investment not just by Australia but by the EU, by China, by the United States into this field of quantum computing.
You could say the same thing, Andrew, about AI. Were we ready for the explosion in AI? Probably not, but it's here now, it's everywhere. So perhaps the same can be said about quantum computing.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I think that artificial intelligence is actually accelerating the research and development of quantum computing as well. So bringing forward that timeline of when a commercially available quantum computer exists.
Is quantum ready encryption something that nation states are paying attention to?
Well, absolutely. Not only are they investing in quantum computer because they can see the benefits of having a quantum computer of sufficient power, but also, they understand the risks that a quantum computer poses to existing cryptography. Insofar as once a quantum computer of sufficient power is available, then existing cryptography that we use today in our daily lives will easily be broken. So on the 14th of August, after 10 years of research, NIST, the US National Institute of Standards and Technology, released three finalized post-quantum algorithms. So these new algorithms are thought to be resistant to a quantum computing attack. So that's a pretty significant milestone. And Senetas has implemented all of those algorithms in our products today. So any customer that has our product can be assured through an upgrade that our products are quantum ready. So, we've seen directives from the NSA that all national security systems, critical national security systems, must run those algorithms, those new post-quantum algorithms, by 2035. So it's a big effort to transition today's encryption and crypto towards these new and implement these new post-quantum algorithms. So it's going to take a decade.
It's worth noting, Andrew, that SureDrop saw a large increase in revenue this year. Do you think this is due to hybrid working becoming more normalised, or were there other factors at play, do you think?
I think the hybrid mode of working these days, which is not going to change, is certainly driving interest in file sharing products like SureDrop. I think also it's the heightened awareness of the importance of making sure that file sharing product is robust from a security perspective. I think is driving attention towards SureDrop, as well as a more concerted effort by Talus to distribute SureDrop is resulting in some sales improvement and pipeline growth. So I do expect that product, albeit a small part of our business, to continue to grow.
What can shareholders look forward to in for the rest of 2024, but in the years ahead, looking ahead for the next couple of years? What for those that are holding the stock, what can we expect?
Yeah, look, as I mentioned earlier, we're laser focused on targeting cash flow break even for Vitiro, and we think it's on track to achieve that. And with the sales, the pipeline growth that we've seen, particularly with DDR in North America, is very encouraging. So, the sort of growth rates that we've seen in Vitiro over the last year, which is a 50% growth in annual recurring revenue, we're targeting for next year. We'd like to see that next year. That'll make it a very valuable part of Senetas, and hopefully our shareholders recognise that at some point, and that's reflected in the share price of Senetas, which I don't really think it is today.
Andrew Wilson, CEO of Senetas. Always great to have you on the program. Thanks for coming on. Great insights as always, and best of luck for the rest of 2024.
Thanks, Justin. Appreciate it.
This year, the Australian government for the first time directly invested in quantum computing startup businesses.
Yeah.
Do you think, Andrew, that the world is ready for a breakthrough in quantum computing?
Well, I think the Australian government investment underscores the growing recognition of the importance of quantum computing and its potential to revolutionise industries like, drug research, optimization of logistics, modeling climate change, obviously running military scenarios and things like that. Because this quantum computer, when it's available, will be able to solve problems that are unsolvable today by classical computing techniques. So, is the world ready for it? Well, I think we're on the cusp of a quantum computing revolution.